Welcome back, whoever is on the channel right now. My name is Mansour. I'm a Druze from Israel. And I'm going to be giving you some reports right now about what's happening in El Sueda, the village of the Druze in Syria that is being attacked by the government. In a breaking news, the cousin of El Shara, the leader of Sueda, some of you might know him as Al Jawlani, have just came out with a fatwa. Fatwa is a Muslim religious approval, command, call it in different ways, permission that it is allowed to take Druze women as sex slaves. Following this announcement, many Muslims from all around the Middle East, mostly from Lebanon and Iraq, have asked for permission to come and join the fight to go and annihilate the Druze in El Sueda. They're flocking in the thousands into Syria to go and join the jihadist regime of Jawlani in their attempt to massacre the Druze and take their women as sex slaves. It all came after that fatwa, which allows the Muslims in Syria to kill the Druze and take their wives and daughters as sex slaves. This is a very terrible news, very difficult for the Druze. I've been talking all day with the fighters among the Druze that are standing there trying to defend their families, their children. They're going outside trying to rescue little kids that got orphaned because their parents got murdered, and they're fighting in the streets trying to give them shelter, but they can't withhold for too long because the Syrian regime is using drones, and the Druze don't have drones anymore. They never had, really. They had just a few DJIs, maybe 4 in the entire mountain. And they're dropping bombs on them. They're killing them. They have to go back into the hiding as they're fighting in the streets. One of these brave Druze warriors that is defending his land has been in touch with me, and I got permission from him to share some of the audio messages that he's been sending me from the battlefield. I'm gonna work on it tomorrow to edit it and make it in one video so you can listen and hear the stories, a diary of a Druze, a proud Druze, standing tall and trying to defend his land from the monsters and evil forces that came to kill his people and kidnap their children. I've just seen several videos today that were very hard to watch. Some of you might have watched them. It's the Druze man being forced to jump out of the balcony by a bunch of jihadists, and then they shoot them. Several of the sheikhs being kidnapped. One of them, probably one of the kids of the sheikhs, had Down syndrome. The streets are just full of bodies left to rot in the streets as they're driving over them, kidnapping these sheikhs, probably to execute them. There was one particular video that really touched me. It was a Druze young man that got arrested by the Jawlani forces, and they're trying to interrogate him at gunpoint, asking him to reveal the location of his friends. He's standing there. They're shooting in the ground next to his feet, trying to make him bend the knee so they can execute him on his knees, and he just refuses. He stands tall, and they keep telling him, "Where are all your people?" And he tells them, "I don't know." And then they shoot him at the spot and execute him. What a brave man. So many of these courageous, brave young men, entire families, have been massacred in the last 12 hours since the ceasefire, the alleged ceasefire, was broken by the Muslims, and they came flocking. There is trucks, buses, pickup trucks driving from all over Syria, flocking down 60 tribes of the Muslims in Syria have came down, descended on the mountain of the Druze to slaughter our beloved Druze community in Syria. We are witnessing live a real genocide happening to the Druze in Syria, and the world is sitting silent. It's very late right now here. I did not want to make this video. I wanted to go to sleep. I haven't slept for several days. Yesterday I've done 10 consecutive shows, live shows that I joined, news, the biggest outlets in the world, or among the biggest, where I came to speak and pledge on behalf of the Druze in Syria, trying to bring awareness and bring a stoppage to this carnage that is happening, but it's not helping. The world seems not to care when they're massacring the Druze. We're a small community. There's 1.5 million of us all around the world, and they're literally killing them, all of them, in Syria. As we're speaking and the world is silent, no big mainstream medias are showing the images, the horrific. There's so many videos out there, but they're not showing it. I'm in touch with many sources on the Israeli side, on the Syrian side, some of them very high up, and I've been asking them, why are we not taking down these jihadists? We see them coming with their trucks. They're coming in the hundreds, in the thousands, flocking down, all bloodthirsty and excited because they can go and murder and kidnap women and take them. And we can stop it. Israel have the ability to stop them all. Israel have complete air superiority over Syria. One Apache, one fighter jet can literally go and change the course of this battle. So many Jews and Arabs and Christians and Muslims in Israel are standing together, demanding from the government to do something about it, but they're not. For the last 12 hours, they almost have done nothing. And what my sources are telling me, sorry, I just need to cough. I'm losing my voice here. But my sources are telling me that the Americans are holding them back. There were several possibilities for the Israeli military to go and intervene, but they did not go. And that's probably the best explanation I can get so far, because it is in the interest of Israel to go and eliminate these jihadists and eliminate the threat that is coming at Israel. These guys that are coming right now, flocking from Iraq, from Lebanon, from all over the Middle East, foreign fighters entering Syria with the hope and the promise that they can go and kill my beautiful community, the Druze in Syria, so they can kidnap their children and take them as slaves, take their daughters. And the world is just standing idle, letting it happen. It's a very hard day. Like I said, I thought of not making this video. I thought just calling it a night and going to sleep. I haven't slept barely for the last several days, trying to bring the voice out there, but I decided I'm going to have to come and do it, even if I'm tired. I made a promise to my relatives, to my friends in Syria, people that I've never met. I grew up in Israel. I'm an Israeli, proud Israeli. And I've never met these people, but I feel so connected to them. My blood. And they're being slaughtered. So here I am trying to bring that awareness to the world. Maybe the world would listen, maybe they won't. It looks like they're not. I know that everyone here in the comments are listening, are feeling my pain, our pain. But it's just not enough. College campuses are silent, activists are silent. So-called pro-Palestinians, human rights activists that care about children, that care about women, are silent. Meanwhile, the Druze are fighting till the last one of them. It's a proud community, and that's its downfall. They will not go silent into the abyss. They will not bend the knee to a Sharia. They said they'd rather die than let them come and enslave them and enforce Sharia on them and take their kids, and they're fighting. They're still fighting till the last one of them. The soldiers are tired, the Druze fighters. They're barely sleeping. They don't have food. They don't have water. They ran out of water and food. The jihadists have poisoned their water supplies. They're taking a sip each time, sharing with their friends. A lot of these fighters are sheltering children, not their own, with them. Kids that ran away and hid while their families were slaughtered, trying to give them the food and water from what they don't have. They need it for themselves, but they're giving it for their children. They're being overrun. There is confirmed reports of the use of military drones on top of the Druze and Sweda, dropping bombs on them, shelling them, rockets, RPGs, machine guns. All these stuff are the work of the military, the work of Syria, the work of Jolani. Jolani have fled the country. Perhaps Israel wanted to assassinate him. Perhaps they were held from assassinating him. We don't know. All we know that his brother-in-law have made a fatwa, like I explained, that's a religious blessing, that Muslim fighters can go and kill the Druze and take their women and daughters as sex slaves. And that ignited many of these perverts around the world, from Lebanon, from Iraq, Bedouin tribes that are coming right now, flocking into Syria so they can finish the job and kill the Druze, my people. There's not much that I can say right now. I didn't have videos to prepare to show you guys. I'm sure you can go and just watch them all. It's all over the internet. But I want to take this chance just to ask that you pray for the Druze. Pray for the Druze who are fighting there. Pray for the Druze who are trying to save themselves. And pray also for world leaders that they will do the right thing. There's rarely moments in life where you know what is the right thing to do, and that's one of them. It's very easy to know who is good and who's bad. Very easy. And all they need to do is just to go and intervene. Something is holding Israel back. We don't know. It's been discussed in closed doors. We can just assume or guess. But all the Druze in Syria that I talked, they said the same thing. Israel is the only one that can save us. They're crying for help, but the help is not coming. I'm going to do my best to give you as much reports as I can today, tomorrow. I can tell you there's a lot of things that we're working on, a lot of things from the government level, from international level, from on the ground. My mom is preparing to go and support our troops in Israel by making meals for the soldiers, because we know that the people of Israel want to help the Jews. There was a religious rabbi that came, a very big rabbi in Israel, and even made a statement saying, why aren't we saving our brothers? They came to save us on October 7. Why aren't we saving them? We owe them to them. We owe that to them. We owe that to ourselves. It's the right thing to do as humans, and dignified things to do as humans, to stand together against the darkness, to bring light to the world. So I know there's a lot of pressure coming from Israel, from the people, showing solidarity and support with the Druze, and we can just pray that the governments will wake up and do the right thing. It's not a fair fight for the Druze. They've been under siege for half a year already. They don't have weapons. They don't have supplies. They don't have water. They don't have food. A liter of gasoline is costing $50 now. barely have vehicles. They cannot drive anymore around to go and rescue people. So, with that, and against the odds of 60 Muslim tribes in Syria descending on the mountain of the Druze to go and annihilate every single one of them, very hard. We don't know if they're going to survive the night. I'll be honest. We're seeing images of jihadists going and grabbing people, throwing them from balconies, forcing them to jump out of balconies, walking house to house, murdering, slaughtering people. Same thing that we saw on October 7th, taking pride, burning everything in their way. And that is the situation right now in Syria. I don't want to take too much time of your time. I appreciate everyone that came here. I will take this time just to answer some questions perhaps, and then we'll call it a night. So I've heard that has been announced that Israel agreed that the Syrian regime should disarm everyone there and handle the situation considering that they are the perpetrators. Exactly. It's like asking Hamas on October 7 to take control of the terrorists that came and make them stop. It doesn't work that way. I think that's a joke, and that is just a very silly thing to say. To most people, Islamic slavery seems far off. It is now. GG writer. Up until today, I think in the world right now, the biggest amount of modern day slavery is happening under Islam. But you won't hear anyone talk about it in the West. They like to drink their latte and hate their governments rather than condemn the real slavers. Vido, my man, one of my favorite followers since the beginning. He's saying, I'm angry at Israel for not sending the Apache squads to support the Druze. Could have easily taken this down and changed the tide of this battle. Easily. And that's what's so frustrating. That there's no real actions. Trump is adamant that Jolani is good and Bibi bent a knee. Could be. I know that the army of Israel, the IDF in Israel, is ready to go. It's been waiting to get the order to go. The soldiers, the commanders, the Air Force, they're all locked and loaded, ready to go and rescue the Druze, but something is holding them back, and I just can't understand what. Amal Kuluni, yeah, another joke. It's like the Lebanese Druze. A lot of them right now are condemning Israel rather than supporting their brothers and sisters. They're being slaughtered. What a disgraceful thing. Their hate toward Israel, the people of Lebanon, is so deeply rooted that they would rather see their brothers and sisters die. I consider them as traitors. Prove me otherwise. Thank you, Patty. Patty Zerba, praying for the Druze all day long. Prayers is the best thing we can do right now. I just heard something right now. Looks like we might having a ceasefire. It's coming from pretty reliable sources. Like I said, I'm in contact with a lot of people that are very close to decision making all the way to the ground. And some of them are saying right now, looks like we might be having a ceasefire. The thing is, saying a ceasefire to really actually in the ground having a ceasefire, every minute, precious lives are being taken there. Precious lives being cut forever. Families erased completely. Every minute counts. We need to put a lot of pressure as much as we can. That's true. Only Israel promised to help, the rest don't have obligations. We, the Israelis, are the only ones who be ashamed and deserving to be shamed. These are very harsh words, but as an Israeli, I agree. You're measured at these moments. What would you do when that happens to your neighbor? It's happening to our neighbor. I'm just going to see what's happening in the comments so I can answer some of them. Kay Oos is saying, what will the West say when the Christians, the Druze, and Alawites are all slaughtered in Syria? Well, they didn't say anything during the Holocaust until it was all over. It's a good reminder for what is humanity. We all watched Holocaust films, read books, and most people in the West will say, why did they let it happen? If I was there, I would not let it happen. But here again, it's happening again, and the world is letting it happen. It shows a lot about humanity, about leadership in humanity. So, please, Felix, thank you so much. If you are in the US, call your congressmen and women. My family in Syria, Octopus with a Hat, is asking, one man got killed in the beginning of the fighting, another got shot in his leg, others disappeared for 3 days and then were found still alive. The rest are still fighting. My mom sent me a voice recording of one of my relatives there, a mother of a guy that is my age. She was crying over the phone. They're terrified. They're scared. They're feeling like only Israel can save them. They're begging me, please beg your country to come and save us. It's very hard, very hard. Through my time in my service in the army and after, I became very good at handling emotions, not letting them come in, not letting them take place, always keeping a clear mind. I had to command operations when dear friends of mine died, and I had to ignore my feelings and just keep doing what needs to be done, and only later on to mourn. Some of them I even missed the funerals because I had to keep with the mission to save lives. But the last few days were very hard emotionally, and I feel like it's just the beginning. Martin K is asking, Mansour, is there any chance that Israel can bring the children, women, and the elderly out of harm's way and bring them to Israel? It's very difficult to do that because we don't have a direct border with Al Sueda. There's a Bedouin land that have millions of Muslim jihadist Bedouins living in it. And for Israel to do that, they will have to enter with a ground invasion or come with helicopters and bring them out, but it have to be a very clear military operation going into a war zone. Sueda is a war zone. There is people fighting in the streets, in the neighborhoods, and there's drones, enemy drones flying in the skies there. So I wish they'd do that, but I know it's very complicated. Thank you, Cease. It's the least that I can do. It's the least that I can do. So we managed already to bring Starlinks into Sweden. Not enough, but we managed to push for it, and some of them reached. It's helping a lot, but it's not enough, and some of them, end up stop operating, and they don't really have the means to fix them. But at least a few of them managed to reach the mountains. They're way not enough, but still. Why don't you Europeans share with European politicians? Sad to say, but it seems like Europe have become a very irrelevant, spoiled friend of the West. That is not really doing anything to change anything. They don't stop the war in Ukraine. No one cares about them. No one really listens to them. No one takes them seriously except for themselves. Their foreign policy is a weakness. And except from America and Israel right now, there's not real forces in the world that are standing against evil. The rest are just sitting and talking. Let's see which other questions are here. So, Jordan have a direct border with Sweden, the biggest, but they have refused to open that border. They refuse to help, which is not surprising. None of the Arab Muslim nations around the Middle East ever did anything to help one another. They didn't help the Gazans. They're not helping the Druze. They can just point out how they hate the West, but they're not doing anything, and that's very, very, very sad. Yep, from what I'm hearing so far, that seems to be the case. That America is holding Israel and telling them not to go forward, and that's on the expense of the Druze. Again, I don't know if that's confirmed, but from what I've been hearing, some reports, some people are saying it seems to be one of the options on the table and not that far off. How can we make the UN see the videos and file sanctions in the Syrian government? You need to remember that the same UN would have probably let Jolani or Assad run the Human Rights Council. They allowed Iran. They appointed Sudan to be the head of the Human Rights Council and to investigate. I don't know if one of these two. They basically asked Sudan to investigate the claims for genocide in Sudan, and then Sudan investigated and came and told them there's no claims. Nothing happened here. So that shows you how pathetic the UN became. So I'm not really having any hopes. Just seen you on AP show, and before that, my Tutsi situation offer. I really feel for you and your people suffering under savage. This has to stop. Like I said, I've done yesterday. I've done 10 consecutive shows, one after the other. I went to the biggest, went to all of them. And if anyone is watching this right now, any show that will give me a stage, I will be there. Any show out there that will give me a stage to come and speak on behalf of the Druze in Syria and try to bring this out, I'll be there. If you know, from the smallest to the biggest, if you can reach the biggest, that's even better. CNN, Fox News, Ben Shapiro, Piers Morgan, any show that I can go on, I will go to talk on behalf of the Druze. Thank you, Howard. Appreciate the kind gesture. It's very nice of you, very kind of you. This is very, very kind, guys, because for the last. Never mind. Thank you so much. The Druze civilians don't have anywhere to flee. That is the problem. They're moving them more and more inwards inside of Lisweda and farther from the front, from all sides. So it's kind of to the center, you can say. And the jihadists are just flooding, flooding the Druze mountains like a plague, killing, burning, looting, raping, beheading, torturing, humiliating, anything in their way. And slowly, slowly, they're closing in. So at a certain point, they will even reach the families and the children that manage to flee. And the ones that are trying to flee are being plucked and killed by drones, military drones that Syria is operating. How do they have these drones? Why is the government using their drones? I'm pretty sure these jihadists are not the ones operating the military. We're not talking DJIs. We're talking about Shaheed drones and others. It's obviously that this is ethnical cleansing that is coming from the government. Mansour will sway the Druze be willing to relocate. Honestly, see no long-term solution. Otherwise, they're just going to be kept being targeted. I think at this moment, right now, they'll probably go anywhere they can be safe to survive. Will they give up their mountain? I highly doubt that. This is their mountain, their land. The Druze would rather usually stay and die on their land rather than give it up. The best solution would be to either Israel to go in and just annex that area and make it part of Israel. That would be the best for everyone. Bad for the jihadists, but best for everyone else. Or with the help of America and the West to create a demilitarized zone in that area where no one can go and murder, and then the Christians and the Jews can just go in there. By the way, there's a lot of Christians in Sweden, and there was some priests that went and made announcements that they will stay there until the end, and that they're fighting alongside the Jews, and they're asking for international community to go and save them. So this is a battle for survival for the Jews and the Christians there, but the world doesn't seem to care. תודה רבה, Niv Calderon. Thank you so much. We appreciate anyone in Israel and in the world that is following on this and praying for us and supporting. I'm working actually on reaching to Ben Shapiro and other big channels. Send message to all of them, telling them if they would like to have me come and speak on behalf of the Druze in Syria and explain the situation so the world could know. Haven't heard from them, but I'm gonna keep nagging and trying to see if I can get them. Yeah, he probably will ask that, but I'm not worried of that. Do you think that Druze communities in Syria will be willing to share their lives with the rest of the Syrian people? The problem with that is that the Syrian people are the ones trying to annihilate them. The thing is with Syria, it's trying to implement a Salafi Sharia, which is the most extreme way of practicing Islam. They take the Sharia law and then they make it even more extreme than what the Quran even said. They go to the extremists that they can in the boundaries of their faith. And in that format, there's no place for any minority in Syria, any minority, not even for other Muslims that are not exactly like them. It's a very, very radical, and that is the government of Jolani. And I don't think the Druze, even if they wanted, can actually live alongside with these monsters. Not the Druze, not the Christians. Yes, they had me on their show yesterday, and I just sent a message actually. Mati Shushani is a friend of mine. I know him from summer camps when we were kids. Met him a little bit briefly, but we spoke here and there. And I just sent him a message before I came here, and I said, if they would allow me to come one more time to try to share this voice, I will highly appreciate it. I hope they will. If they won't, I understand. I mean, they already gave me one time a platform, but I just sent him a message, by the way. I will go out with any bunch of leftists on a debate at any given day, at any given time, anywhere. Tell me when, where, and the location, I'll be there. And if that's what it takes to come on big platforms to speak, I'll do that. Thank you, Fizzy. Missing you, buddy. Hope you're doing fine. We should do a show together soon. That's, by the way, the Roy the Kid, if you don't know. Go follow him. He started his new YouTube channel, great content. And one of the good ones. One of the good ones. Someone is asking, are the Druze fighting the Bedouins or the other way around? What is the purpose of this? Is it over land or religion? Both. Firstly, over religion and land, and also to please the bloodthirsty lust for killing and kidnapping that the radical jihadists over there have. And the Druze are the only group in Syria that have not bent the knee to Sharia yet, that is not under Sharia, and they want to make them under Sharia. They want to humiliate them, bring them under Sharia, and then kill them, and then enslave the women and children. So this is exactly, I just explained to you, textbook of what is Syria right now. Someone is saying, please open humanitarian corridor for Sweda, food for Sweda. All these things are so needed. I think Masoud said that that is probably one of the most helpful things that can happen right now. If we can open a humanitarian corridor to Sweda, because they are cut and sieged there, and they have no way to go out and no help to go in. Sean Ryan would be amazing. He have a great show. I really appreciate and respect his show, and I would love to be there. In general, as someone that came from the Special Forces, I would love to go on that show. It's a great show. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. You have very, very good content. Thank you, Manuel. I appreciate that very much. Send my regards to your family as well. All right, I got to the bottom of the messages here. So I will just recap and say that following the slaughter of the Druze community in Syria, the cousin of al-Jawlani just announced a fatwa, a religious blessing, call it, that Muslim fighters are allowed to take Druze women as sex slaves. Following that, hordes of Muslims from Iraq and Lebanon, Bedouins mostly, have asked permission to enter the country so that they can join the effort to go and kill all the Jews. They're all smelling blood and seeing an opportunity to come back home with loot and little girls that they can kidnap. So Seems like all of them are flocking right now. It's pretty much like the entire jihadist Middle East right now is coming together to go on the Druze, not only the 60 tribes of Syria, but also many other clans and tribes of warlords and their rapists, jihadists. They're all coming right now and going because they're smelling blood. They're seeing a beautiful small community that is wounded, that is crying for help, and that is desperate because they have no ammunition, no food, no water, no medicine. Some of the fighters that I'm talking with are wounded. They have injuries, they have bullet wounds, and they're still fighting. And yes, Israel can stop it quite easily, I would even say. But right now, something is holding them back, and I'm not so sure what is that exactly. Um, I've been compiling audio reports from the one of the fighters on the ground, speaking in English, explaining the situation, and just sharing crazy stories. Some of them are insane, involving some of the Christian fighters, brothers in arms that are fighting side by side with them, sharing personal stories of miraculous stories of how God protected them and crazy stuff, really crazy stuff. And tomorrow I'm going to sit and work on it to make an audio recording of that. Maybe I'll come in live or maybe I'll go and just make a video of it. But I'll try to give that to you tomorrow. Meanwhile, I am going to call this a night, guys. Again, I want to thank everyone that is coming and watching and following. And just a reminder, if anyone have any ties with any big channels out there, I'll be more than happy to go and speak and share with the world. Just let me know. Share with me so I can go talk to them, to reach out to me. Any way that I can bring this voice out for the cry of the minorities in Syria, not only the Druze, but also the Christians, former Muslims, many of the peaceful ones that I'm talking with, peace-loving humans there that are stuck in this hellhole that I became Syria and I'm just crying for help. GG Ryder, thank you so much. That's very kind of you. He's saying, I'm grieving with you, Manso. Each Druze victim tragedy. I see this obvious prep for taking over the West. There's some religions that cherish life so much, so much. And it's so heartbreaking to see every human die in general. But in these religions, you know that one soul that dies and the whole country stands behind him, and that's the Jews and the Druze. One soul that died, one brave man or woman or elderly sheikh or anyone that is dying in that mountain, it breaks the heart. It really breaks the heart. And every second as we're speaking, there's more people that are meeting the terrible fate because the West is not stepping in. Thank you, Amelia. I appreciate that. Joe Rogan would be indeed good. If anyone knows Joe, let me know. I'll go there immediately. Joe Jihad Rogan. Someone said that. All right. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for sticking around. This was longer than I thought, but still, I felt it was important. I appreciate people being here and listening. It's for me also some kind of a therapy to talk about it and bring it out rather than keep it in. And I appreciate everyone that came here. Keep your eyes on what's happening. Keep praying. Don't forget about the Druze. And if you have demonstrations in your towns, go out, show solidarity, support. I know there's a lot of Israelis that went up to the border in the north to show support with the Druze and in their cities. We appreciate that so much. And there's a certain extent that we, the citizens, can go, but that's what we can do. That's something we can do, is bring the voice up and maybe demand from the decision makers to take the right decision. Until then, guys, stay safe. Don't do anything stupid. And like I always say, in general, just don't do anything that I would do, which is probably not to sleep for several days and just do live streams after one another. Like I said, I did 10 live streams with other channels back to back. In the last one, it was quite late. The reporter asked me, How am I not tired? How? I mean, he was getting tired. I just told him, listen, buddy, I can do this all day. I can do this all day. Just give me the platform to come and speak for these people. I will do this all day with the help of a lot of coffee. Stay safe, guys. God bless you. Bye.